Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm getting better at that, aren't I? So, just made myself a cup of coffee, and I've been talking to my neighbour. Oh, the rat. The rat. Where is it? The rat. See, I'm getting there. I'm learning. I'm like artificial intelligence, AI. I learn. I've just been talking to my neighbour about artificial intelligence, and we kind of conclude that there's a scary future coming. Some people say it's exciting, but on the other hand, I think there's going to be basically revolutions in different ways. You know what I mean? If you ever get the chance to watch a BBC drama called Lark Rise to Candleford, watch it. It's a wonderful drama, but it's set on the eve of the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s, where everybody's in the fields working, and it's about a small village, the rivalry between a small village and a local town, and there's an 8 mile gap between the two. And the people that worked in the field started to experience mechanization, with the machines coming in to do the work of, 10 men kind of thing, and so basically there were lots of redundancies, and the people had no other choice but to actually gravitate to the cities. And so we saw that migration and change in the way people lived and worked. And I think we're on the eve of another revolution with this artificial intelligence, because I mean, take Uber taxis, for instance. They were earning good money when Uber came out, but then there was a couple of court cases, and particularly in England, they ended up with pension rights and holiday rights and that kind of thing. So they took a slice off to pay for that, and then they've started to drop the rate for the job down, and all the taxi drivers are screaming about it. But on the other hand, they're also going to be bringing out autonomous vehicles. Indeed, they've already got autonomous vehicles in certain parts of the world. They're already out there driving. And so what's going to happen is all the taxi drivers are going to be laid off, aren't they? They're going to find out they can't compete with the car, because you'll have an app, an Uber app, and it'll say, do you want an autonomous vehicle or a driver? And you'll say, what's the difference? And it'll be the price. You say, where do you want to go? Bristol. So from Birmingham to Bristol, it'll be 189 quid, right? But if you want to go by the app, it'll be £16.50. If there's no vehicle driver. Plus, when you go by the app, you don't have to tip the vehicle with a human. You've got to tip him. Well, you feel obligated to tip him. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you'll feel obligated to tip him. But the thing is, the human beings will have the choice to choose, and some people go, well, hold on, for £16.50, I'll take the risk. I mean, I'll be a bit scared getting in a vehicle that drove itself. It'd be spooky, you know what I mean? And I do know somebody that was in Italy, and they have a law in Italy which basically says that there still has to be a taxi driver behind the wheel to take over in the event of an emergency. That's the law, I think, in Europe or in Italy. But he'll sit there just messing about on his phone, and the vehicle will just do the driving. But eventually they will get rid of the supervisory, the human supervisory, because the actual AI will be so brilliant it won't need it, because it will learn from itself. Which reminded me of a book that I read in the I think it was the 1990s. There was a bit of a revolution going on with the Lexus production line. The book was called The Lexus on the Olive Tree, and there was this reporter that had gone to the production line of the Lexus when it first came out in Japan. And at the end of the production line, robots were putting right mistakes that robots had made back then in the 90s. So God knows what's going to happen, with everything. But, I used ChatGPT yesterday to write me myself a social media post. And the revolution just on online platforms is coming. It's coming. And I don't know how it's going to affect us on eBay. But for sure, big business is going to have apps that basically receive this. Gary Vee talks about this as well. An app that will basically, or a process that will receive a product on a production line. It will take it, it will examine it with a scan or something like that. It'll take all the photographs, and then all of a sudden the listing will be written. It'll be live, and the product will be put on a shelf, a storage shelf, and it'll be done. And the cost of doing that will be pennies, even not even pennies. And they reckons that there's going to be, these influencers that are out there. Companies have to give them money and give them gifts and give them all that kind of thing to do the influencing. Well, the AI influencers, there's going to be, how many people in the world? They reckon 9 billion. He reckons that there's going to be 9 billion AI influencers, and businesses will buy their own AI influencer for a price. They'll make an initial investment. There'll be a small maintenance of it somewhere along the line, like software updates. but essentially it'll be a talking head, animated in some way, and it will be out there influencing people on social media, and the costs. So you won't even get a slide, you won't even get a look in. So the question is, what will we do as human beings when the AI takes over? What will we do? I personally think that we have to have purpose in life because we're engineered that way. We have to have some kind of purpose, and I think crafting will be, the rise of not crafting and production for sale. Although some people will buy it because, no, I'm buying that because it's made by a human kind of thing. But the arts and crafts movement in the 20s basically saw people making things, and they were made, because it was a craft, and they were trying to keep certain crafts alive and that kind of thing. And I don't know too much about that arts and crafts movement. All I know is that the stuff is fairly collectible now, because they're kind of one-offs in many cases, and they're quirky. And I think people will do that. I think people will get thread and they'll sew, and they'll sew whilst machines will probably repair stuff for us, or even make stuff. You'll throw away, you'll recycle your old coat, and you'll throw it into a charity bin or something like that, and AI will actually strip it all down and recycle it into a new coat, and you'll get a new coat back for half the price, for something like that. But people will be, well, what am I going to do? I think how am I going to earn a living? I think the government's talks about world governments, this global world order that's going to come in, whether we like it or not. I think it's on its way. I'm not advocating for it because I don't want it. But the global world order is basically saying that everybody will have a flat payment of £15,000. But that begs the question, do we need consumers to consume anymore? And so we'll see the population collapse, I think, and there'll be an elite that will live on this planet in the future. What will happen with eBay? Well, yeah, all the stuff that you can suck out of all the homes and that's all left over will probably be, they'll probably be sold off on car boots, or you'll have a robot that'll just go to a car boot for you and come back with the money or something like that. And things like me little rat. I should have put it on while I'm rabbiting away. My little rat will be an antique. It'll be a collector's item. Something like that. The DJI Pocket, that'll be a collector's item, because there won't be anybody to buy it or to use it. Anyway, that's what I'm just thinking. I don't know, where do you think it's going? By the way, I did use ChatGPT yesterday to write a post. I put in what I thought was a good post, and I just dumped it into there, and it came back with this super duper kind of like text, and with all bells and whistles and everything. And I thought, blimey, oh, look at that. I added my pictures in, which was pictures of these, and I said, hooray, my threads have arrived, kind of thing. Although they've been here for ages, it was almost as if I've put it in as if it's a new arrival. And the blimmin' post that came back was brilliant. So I thought, right, save, share, and it went off via Meta to Instagram and Facebook. And I've come in this morning and I've got 2 love hearts, feedback love hearts. And I thought, blimey, look at that. All the posts that I made last week, whilst they got loads of traction in terms of views, there's no likes. No love hearts, for sure, no love hearts, but there's like 1 or 2 likes. Here, this morning, I've got 2 love hearts straight away. I thought, bloody hell, that's good. So I shall be using ChatGPT going forward. In the meantime, packaging. I ordered some, I oversold a zip on Friday, and I had no choice but to order it from my supplier at the last minute. And it came yesterday. And I've often thought about using these. These things. Well, I mean, how many? I've already taken one out. You've basically put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've already got. There was 6 zips in that, and so if I normally fold these up nice and neat and put elastic bands around them, and then put them in a plastic bag and then send them, there's always a risk of it still going into the parcel rate. But here, quite clearly, it's still a large letter, and it's a good quality box. I mean, I bought one of these in the past to test, and it wasn't as solid as this. And I don't know if this is solid because of the way they've taped it up and wrapped it. But I got to say, I'm very impressed with that. My cost, if I remember correctly, was about 28p. But 1, it's environmentally friendly, and 2, it's qualifying. And once I've got my tracked label on it, I think there's a very, very good chance of that having a successful delivery in 99.9% of cases. For sure, this new system that Royal Mail's got, where they've got it's all automated with the cameras and all that kind of thing, I think there's a very good chance of this beating the plastic mailers all day long. And so if I went onto something like this, for certain orders, not all orders, certainly for orders, if I got a sale of six zips like this, it would probably be an attractive option, because if I divide the actual cost between 6, say that's 30, so it's going to cost 5p per zip, I could swallow that cost for a successful delivery. Not only that, it's a fairly professional delivery. The chances of winning with this are quite high. The only thing is you've got to assemble them, haven't you? So it's a bit of a faff. But they've took a bit of tape all the way around. I think I could make a claim, you see. Yeah, we know we're now moving towards a green environmental, because a lot of my customers are very concerned about it. You know, if you think about the type of people that buy haberdashery, it's overwhelmingly women, and overwhelmingly sort of some of the 40s upwards, 1940s, 40 years upwards. So they're concerned about it. You know, they sit in their sewing circles talking about it, and what they influence each other. So you know, to be able to say that I'm now using environmentally friendly products, I think it will go a long way. Well, it's just another thing I can say. On another matter, yesterday morning something really bizarre happened. I was amazed. But apparently it's a thing. You know, when I mentioned it to the postman, and he said, yeah, we send them out all the time. I received 10 big sacks from the Royal Mail, rolled up with 2, what do they call those, plastic cable ties around them, and a label on it addressed to me. Sent 48 tracts through the post. I thought, let me know, look at that, and there was 10 of them. So it must be coming to me. They've been sending them to me because of the tract services that I've gone on to. I don't know. I hope it is. I hope it comes every week. But obviously, it's clear to me that they're using the tract services as their flagship product, and they're trying to use it possibly to change the organisation, to improve the customer experience. I was delighted with it because it'll save me a lot of hassle. The question will be is 10 bags enough? But it don't matter. If I can get 10 bags to them sent to me every week, I've always got an insurance policy there to back me up. As it is, I either have a word with my Royal Mail collections driver, and I say, can you bring me some bags tomorrow? And sometimes he brings, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on who it is. Or I just go to the depot and I can get some at the end of the day. But that's a ball ache, innit? You know, who wants to do that? You want it delivered to you. So that's that, really. So I'm really surprised. Do you get bags delivered to you? I mean, in theory, you've always been able to go online and order them, but I've done it in the past several times and they're never ever delivered. They'll deliver the cable ties and they'll deliver the the labels. You know, the labels that we get for the click and for the printer. They send those free, although they're trying to tighten up on that area. I went to price up a roll the other day on eBay, £13.50 for 500 labels. I was surprised, I was shocked, but yeah, why should you be shocked? That's what they cost. I used to buy these. I had a little printer. I used to buy these on eBay, and I think these were £8 a roll. If I'm yeah, they're 8 for a DK112 on mine. These are 800 labels. Not bad price really. Yeah, 8p a label. That's what it was, because 800 about £8, penny a label. And when I went onto the Zebra, the click and drop, and I got them for free, I thought, wow, look how much money I'm saving, you know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm going to try and keep my videos shorter. How long having said that, it's already 13.5 minutes. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. I'll check in with you later. Bye.